You are now listening to No Dumb Idea. No Dumb Idea. No Dumb Idea.
You are now listening to No Dumb Idea.
Cool.
Oh boy, what a day. What a day of losing, losing out on hundreds of dollars across the country. There are voices crying out in pain and anguish. And do you guys hear that? Do you hear the voices?
Huh? What?
Can you hear them echoing over the hillside?
I hear your voice.
Yeah, that's
Well,
pretty much what I mean.
What a day. It's only 11:30 a.m.
Yeah,
I
and
know.
it has been a long one.
awake for-
Let me
Been
tell
awake for
you.
30 minutes. Oh, man.
Uh-huh.
I'm
And
tired.
all 30 minutes of that
Yeah.
agony.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolute agony.
Oh, totally.
So-
But yeah, I hear the people of Whovesville screaming, cheering. What's it all about?
Oh, the
Yeah.
people of Whovesville are upset. They're raising quite a clamor. They're yopping up and down because, well, if you're connected to the game of Magic the Gathering, you'll know that a lot of people are upset right now, following some very specific bannings. A few very beloved cards, very powerful cards, got banned after a long time of dominating a casual format, so-called. We say casual, but people are arguing about it, so is it really?
yeah.
And it
Wait, so the casuals are arguing about it.
The casuals are arguing, which, like,
Yeah.
if you got the casuals arguing, that's when you know something's up.
Mm-hmm.
And it brought me to this concept, this idea of banning the things we love. So that's what we're going to talk about today here on No Dumb Idea. Welcome, everybody. This is No Dumb Idea. This is a little podcast that we run that is all about talking about our favorite comic books, video games, movies, and other various nerdy media. I'm GymleaderNate,
TCGs.
and I'm here, and TCGs. That's absolutely
Sorry,
true.
just throw in there.
It's true. I should start including that in the beginning.
No, yeah, and I'm
And I'm
Dala.
here with my co-host, Dala.
Yeah, Giddledang.
And Giddledang. We're gonna talk about this. We're gonna do some real chatting, some real chitting, cause this has got a lot of people in a stir. But first, I want to hear about you guys. I want to hear what's going on in your weeks. Hopefully, a little less tumultuous than the online Magic community.
So, I don't know if I've already mentioned this, but I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3 again. I don't know if I mentioned it on the podcast, but
Let's go.
I managed to actually get the space for it on my laptop, and I'm playing it, and it's fun. And it sucks because this is probably the third time that fourth time that I've played through it. So I've had to do I have like the beginning, the first two chapters like ingrained in my mind.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, I want to get past
Like,
this
run
already.
through 'em.
But it's still a lot of fun. And yeah, so that's basically been taking up the very little free time that I have, because now I have a new job where I fucking work 12 or like 10, 12 hours a day. Ugh, that's a whole other thing.
Yeesh.
But
yeah.
it's been making me enjoy my time. What little time I have, it's been making me savor it. And last night I actually managed to find the newest Hellboy movie that released. What?
Does it have a subtitle?
The Crooked Man?
Is there? Oh, that's right. That's what
Yeah.
it is. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But not so straight, my guy.
Yeah.
Oh right, this is the one that looks like it's a fan made film that's like done in that same piece of forest that all fan made films are done in.
Yeah.
Like our Evil Dead ripoff, based on the first trailer, or one of the trailers at least.
So watching it, it's pretty damn solid. Pretty damn good.
Really?
In my opinion, it might be the best.
Yeah,
I think it
Giddledang.
really is like what I've wanted from a Hellboy movie. It's just a straight
Giddledang
up,
text that last night. I was like, wow, I'm
yeah,
surprised.
it's just straight up an adaptation.
I'm glad. I was
Yeah.
surprised.
It's
Yeah.
like,
Of like that, the Crooked Man story, I assume.
yeah. I actually haven't read
Like
that one.
specifically that one.
Because I think that one takes place outside of like not like the main
Uh-huh.
Hellboy continuity, but it's a side story.
It's like a prequel or something.
Yeah, it's a side story.
Sequel.
It's so hard for me not to just think of Wolf Among Us when I think Crooked Man.
Oh, true.
he's
Yeah,
like-
huh. I forgot he's.
He's a huge part of that game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, it's
Wiggly bloke.
so the effects were so. It does look low budget, but that doesn't, like we're a big
Take
fan
away
of
from it too much.
low budget horror movies. Like it's nothing that it just adds a little more charm to it.
Especially in horror as a genre.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
the characters were really solid. Hellboy was straight up the most accurate, ripped from the comic books. Played by actor Jack Kesey, who played Black Tom in Deadpool 2.
Oh, yes, that's right.
He plays Hellboy.
Locktown Cassidy.
He's really good. He's really personable. Like the whole thing with Hellboy is that he's not down to earth, but he's your average Joe at work. But his work is that he has to kill monsters.
Killing monsters.
Yeah.
But his main conflict
Back
is that
to the old grind.
yeah, his main conflict is that he's a monster, and
He works 12 hours.
it's funny because a lot of the movies deal with like, oh, he's in the BPRD and this and that. But I think in the second or third volume of his run, he like rips off the BPRD patch and it's just like, I'm not with you guys anymore. I'm gonna go do my own thing. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was a really good movie. It was really fun. One thing I noticed was that like it was like 91 minutes, which is pretty swift. Hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's
Perfect
go. The perfect
Perfect time.
movie.
There'd be a point where I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, oh fuck, man. Clearly, there's halfway.
Hour and a half.
I'm halfway through the movie. I checked the time. It's 30 minutes, and I'm like, oh shit, okay, I got another hour left. Nice. And then
Yeah.
later on,
That's
I'm
funny.
like, oh shit, okay, there's probably only 20 minutes left of the movie. I'm halfway through the movie, and I'm like, god damn, so much happens. It gets your attention, and so much happens in that little time. And yeah, I guess last little highlight, not really a spoiler, I guess, but it deals with witches a lot. And
Nice.
it deals with like the other half of Hellboy's origin, where his mom was a witch, and it
Oh.
touches on that a little bit, which is refreshing because all of the other movies have been about like the other half, about how he's destined to bring the apocalypse and how he's just the demonic creature, I guess.
Yeah, the Antichrist, essentially.
No, not that really. Because that's much more.
Well, if he's bringing the apocalypse.
Well, it's more of like he's gonna cause the destruction of the world. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's really Antichrist, is it?
It's like the
That's
same.
what the Antichrist
type of-
does in
Yeah,
the
most
actual. Yeah, the actual myth. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's like the same type of.
He's the son of
character archetype.
he's the son of Satan and brings about the end of the world.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Haven't you seen Omen 4 or 3? Come on now.
The three.
The 3?
Oh
Three on
man, 3.
But no, I'm
Yeah,
glad that
yeah.
that's like worked out for. I mean, shit. Maybe Hellboy needs to be a B movie and not like a big blockbuster movie.
Honestly,
maybe
kind
that's the
of.
problem.
Like that makes like I was thinking about it the other day, where I was thinking about if we could ever actually get a Hellboy that somehow visually actually smacks of the art style
Yeah,
of
I think we talked
the
about
comic.
that last time too.
And it's like I don't even know if it's possible in live action.
Well,
We
And
could do like Sin City.
that's the main thing.
that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you like did Sin City with also with lined dark. So if you did Inkline Dark over live action in Sin City style, it might like be a really, really cool way.
Oh yeah.
And everything could be super heightened and dramatic and like really like I don't know. It just seems like it would be the right format for
Even
that
for
would be
that.
something
Oh,
that
definitely.
I
graphic.
know, even like
Yeah.
the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, like the 30s, considered the first horror movie. It all the sets had their shadows painted on, which is really like, hey, you could just do that in the.
Just actually draw them.
It's
Yeah.
just there's a lot, but I don't know, man. It's gonna come to VOD. I know that it was in theaters for a little bit, but it won't be in theaters in America, unfortunately. But
I was gonna say. yeesh.
hopefully it does well. That's all I could say, because
Who made this again?
the fucking director of the Crank movies and Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance,
Oh, God, even the second.
which I will say there are some shots where it's like they really own it in, because in those
Tonally.
movies, very tonally different. In the other movies, there's a lot of spastic, like whoa, like fucking
Yeah.
crazy shots.
Camera fucking zooming in and out or something, or wobbly.
And you feel like there's times where it's like it kind of leans into that a little bit, but then there's like someone with a leash off camera just like pulling the
They're like,
director
"No, no."
back. You're like, nope, we're not doing that. But
not this one.
yeah, by the time this comes out, I'm not sure if Hellboy's gonna be out yet, but give it a shot. Check it out.
Yeah. It's a shame
so-
it's just like went to VOD, like not even
Yeah,
like a
'cause-
Netflix or something.
Because like these are like a lot of these actors I've like seen these actors in other stuff. I know the director's done other things that have
Yeah.
been like at least recognizable. So it's like surprising they wouldn't give this a theater run at all.
Oh, the
Like
last one.
I wonder if
Yeah.
that was always the case, or if that was like a
always-
last minute decision.
Well, I think it's because the last one was such a failure.
Flop.
Yeah. I'm gonna rewatch that today. I'm
Oh
gonna
god,
see-
the 29th.
see
I
if
don't
that's
even
like-
know if I finished it because I don't remember like half
We
of
watched.
it or any of
We
it.
tried
really.
to watch that together, right?
We did. Yeah.
Yeah. No, what
I think
did
we probably just got
do?
drunk
Yeah.
and
started making out or
probably
something. Yeah.
Drew or
Oh
something.
yeah, Drew
yeah.
draw. Yeah.
Typically,
We drew each
that's
other a
what
bath and
y'all
made
do.
I held up my picture. I'm like, this is my bath. This is your bath.
Yeah, we drew a bath. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. What? Oh God, we're such good artists.
Yeah, we
and then
put the
kept
papers
making
together
out,
with a
yeah.
kiss. Oh shit.
It's good.
All right. Well,
Go
that's
on.
awesome. Honestly, I'm pretty happy that there's like a decent Hellboy to watch in
And
the modern day.
I'm also,
Yeah,
I guess,
since like the first.
couple things. I'm not trying to hype it up or anything. I'm saying it's a good movie. It doesn't do anything that's like oh my god, no way. Like it doesn't break any new ground. But it's
Yeah.
just a really solid adaptation, really good tone, and
it's decent.
I'm also
Passable BC.
I'm also not talking shit about the Guillermo del Toro movies, because those are good. It just straight up isn't like an adaptation of Hellboy. It kind of loosely it takes like 80% of the material.
It's definitely an adaptation.
Yeah.
Like
It's more of like,
Yeah. Well, the
It's
second
an
one's like a
interpretation.
complete
honestly,
different story too, right? Made up.
yeah, the second one's completely original. Honestly, those are just
and the first one.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah,
I feel like he was just setting ground for Pan's
Yeah.
Labyrinth. You know what I mean?
And
Their fantasy adventures.
Shape of Water
and Shape of
with
Water.
Abe Sapien. He's like, I'm getting ready.
Yep.
The things to come.
You know what's the craziest thing about Shape of Water still?
She fucks the fish.
Is that like
Because to me, that's the
It's
craziest
that they-
thing. It's that she fucks the fish.
no? It's that
Okay.
is that like they end up together. It's not like a story
Yeah.
about how she fucks the fish and then realizes, I shouldn't have fucked that fish.
Ew.
that
No,
was some
it's
bad
she
fish.
fucks the fish, and then we realized, oh, this is what I want to do forever. And then they're
Yeah.
like, happy ending.
Well, I guess that's
God
sweet,
damn.
right?
Do they show kids? Do they get kids?
Do they get
No,
kids?
they don't
have-
Do they have
Ugh.
kids?
Like they have like half.
That'd be, well,
Well, I don't know fish anatomy. Maybe
I
they
guess
fishman anatomy.
male fish still be shooting, you know. So maybe.
Oh my god, she would have like
They're,
1,000
half
kids.
human, half fishman.
Yeah, she would.
That'd be
It
fucking
only,
dis-
but only
that'd be
like
so exhausting as a mother.
only like half of them would
Well,
live.
yeah, because the dad would eat like half of them.
Yeah.
and then she wouldn't.
Well, they're eggs.
She'd be like, "These are my
Shape of
children,
Water
but I have too many
Shape of
to
Water
remember."
2, and it's the fish man
Yeah,
just
she's
like
like-
eating their children, like
Like Saturn eating his son, kind of fucking, but just like eggs.
exactly.
You know what? I would be down if Guillermo was just doing Shape of Water to set him up for this second one.
For the Shape of
Yeah,
Water
it's like a
too.
really
I feel
dark
like that's how
horror
it would
movie.
have to be.
Yeah.
I feel like you would have to make Shape of Water 1 to set up Shape of Water 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, I'm waiting for somebody to have the
Oh,
courage to not wait for the first one and just be like, "This is my new movie,
Second.
Walk the Road 2."
Ooh.
And they're like, "Is this a sequel?"
Star Wars
And they're
it.
like, "No."
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, just
that's
start with like a
true.
random
That's-
number.
That's what Star Wars. Well, technically, Star Wars didn't assign the numbers till later.
Okay, nerd.
At
Yeah.
first, it was just Star
Okay.
Wars.
Okay.
Was it Naked Gun 3 is like 33 and a half or a third or
That's
whatever,
true.
so it's like a bunch of missing in the middle.
Nice.
But actually, speaking
Alright.
of fucking gross movies, can I talk about a gross movie I just saw?
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
That was beautiful. Have y'all heard
do.
of
This.
The Substance?
Yeah. I've been seeing a lot for
No.
it.
You, Jim, it
Let
it
me give
is
it a Google
amazing.
here.
Yeah, it's a body horror movie starring Demi Moore. Basically,
Oh.
the premise is it's Demi Moore, so she's a bit of like older actress, for
Established.
modern day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she basically, there's a substance that she could Netflix pay for, basically, like subscription pay for, which will basically make you like hot and like famous, essentially. But yeah, so basically, and then it's like, just goes from there. It gets fucking wild. It's a perfect blend. Like, I feel like this movie is the perfect blend of like David Cronenberg's The Fly and Society, which are two of my favorite like body horror movies. Like tone, themes, and like body horror itself. It's like, because it tackles like aging, what it's like to age in like
Hollywood.
in like media, Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like, to
Seems like a
be
little
person.
comment on like plastic surgery and like trying
Yeah.
to avoid the signs of aging
Exactly.
at any costs.
I assume it's also
And
like the standard that we hold women up to when it comes to like beauty
Oh,
standards
definitely.
and fucking
Yeah.
stupid shit like that. Yeah.
The standards of just like what it like takes. And like it's funny because what's his name?
Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid. Yeah, he's in it, and I didn't even register it was him, but he's like such a like, I love his character because he's such a producer man. Like, haha, like you're so hot, like do that thing, like, because she's like she's an aerobics like instructor. That's her like claim to fame. And so he's like, oh, like do the bend, like, oh, haha, like, and I got all these producers, and it's fucking wild. It's gross. I love it. Also saw it like a bit drunk off mimosas. Funny enough,
Ooh.
so it's like
Nice.
extra wild.
Was it a morning?
Yeah.
So it was a morning viewing.
It.
A
We
brunch
went
movie?
for
A broovy?
we went for
broovie?
brunch, and then we ended up getting too drunk that the drunks lasted till like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a mimosa drunk. Yeah. And we were
Yep.
just walking around. We went to
And you're-
Japantown.
Nice.
And you're like, oh, that's right. Those orange juices had vodka in them. Or champagne.
Champagne. Yeah. Well, because we went to a
I'm
place
thinking of
that
Screwdriver.
does. We went to a place that does like different flavors. So we were like, let's try like the like mango tahine. Let's try the pomegranate. Let's try the like this blue one.
That
Yeah.
I remember.
that
I-
reminds
Oh my
us.
god, the worst. I was about to say, me and my friends one time when I was in the city in Chicago, we went to a place for brunch and we got their bottomless mimosas.
Yeah,
where
that's
it's
what-
literally
yeah.
just like they have this thing that serves it. It's like a little dispenser, and it's
So no
like
one's monitoring too. Damn.
No, and so then they have dudes coming around who are like dressed in like skimpy outfits because it was a gay bar, and
Oh, nice.
a gar.
like a gay pub.
Oh, a gub.
A gar, a gub, gay pub, and these like the twinks in like skimpy outfits were coming around with like little like gun dispensers, and they would pop open the big container at the center of your table, and they would shoot more mimosa into your thing, and then
That's awesome.
plug it back up, or like
Yeah.
they could like, yeah, it was so funny. Sorry,
I love
just
the
had to
idea
tell
of
that story
tweaks. No, you're
because-
good. I just-
Yeah, like one was dressed like a Boy Scout, one was dressed
That's
like
weird.
like a firefighter, Like,
Ooh.
it's not that weird, the gay community. But,
Yeah.
it's-
The community.
The
Yeah.
community.
Gay community.
One guy
the
was a
gay
doctor.
community, yeah.
Yeah.
He probably would have been a nurse, but yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Men can be
Yeah, gay
nurses
people can be
too.
doctors,
Calm down.
okay?
Yeah, men can be nurses. All right.
And yeah, gay men can be doctors.
Gay men can be
okay.
doctors and men can be nurses.
Gays can be
Yeah.
men. Okay.
So stupid.
But yeah, that's just highly recommend, especially as we hit into October. Check out The Substance if you want some gross gore
Yeah.
and some good commentary.
I saw a couple stills of like some effects from the movie, and they look pretty gnarly.
Hmm.
It's cool.
Yeah. Again, if you like The Fly or Society, it's like a perfect blend of the two. Even has some of the comedy of Society.
Ooh.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for me, I didn't see any movies this last week, but I have played a new video game.
Ooh. Pizza Tower?
Stardew Valley.
No, Pizza Tower beat that. Beat
Damn.
Pizza Tower.
Oh, you did beat it. Okay. It's fine.
Yeah,
It's good.
twice. No, I've been playing Black Myth Wukong.
Oh wow.
So the new game about Sun Wukong.
Isn't that getting banned?
No,
Or
I
no?
don't think so. I think
Okay,
it's
I thought it
just
got-
I think it's just Chinese, and their government bans a lot of things. But this one,
But I thought it did hot away.
this one's very not
Yeah,
banned.
yeah.
It's kind of I
Yeah.
feel like it's kind of everywhere right
Too
now.
good.
Mm-hmm.
In fact,
Um,
it's installed
it
on
is-
everything.
It is seemingly not getting a lot of recognition from like the review and awards like community within the gaming community. But we'll see how that goes. But regardless, great game. If y'all ever want to play a Souls-like that's not as hard as Dark Souls, I've been playing it. It is still hard. It's not as hard as a Dark Souls game though, but it's the same style. Amazing mythos. I don't know how familiar you guys are with Journey to the West. But
I feel like I've probably seen it in some other anime or some kind of, where it's like Lion King was like
for
a
me, I've seen the
representation
live
of-
action. I've seen a few versions of it in live action because they've made like 10 different movies that are all
Yeah.
just a Journey to the
That-
West.
I haven't seen any actually.
huge.
Like I'm aware of the character. I mean, I guess on a surface value level, but
It's
I don't really know his story.
it's definitely worth a watch in some form, or however you want to consume it. If
Or
you
the
find like a
game.
comic version or something, or if you play
could
the
eat
game.
it?
Well, the problem is with this game is that this game's a sequel to it.
Oh,
So it's a
gotcha.
sequel. If you
That's
want to
cool.
know the actual Journey to the West and the story of
You have
Sun
to-
Wukong, you have to go do that. But whereas this game, you are Sun Wukong reincarnated, and you are going around to find the 6 pieces of himself that he like imbued his spirit into.
His Horcrux?
The 6 senses of the Monkey King. Basically,
Monkey
yes.
Crux?
Honestly. The monkey crux, and once you have all 6 monkey crux,
You die.
can like be reborn as Sun Wukong.
Monkey.
But also, yes, because I was thinking about that the other day. Your character, the main character, like you had a different identity your whole life, but then if you just turn into Sun Wukong and you gain all your memories back, doesn't that kind of mean the person you were your whole life is dead?
Yeah.
Like that's not who you were.
Yeah,
like
you were just a placeholder for something.
you were a filler
better.
person. So, yeah, I was thinking about that the
The
other
Substance.
day too.
Improved.
With the substance,
Faster.
but yeah,
They took the
Stronger.
really
Hairier.
really good game. Very fun like mechanics because Sun Wukong, he is the basis for so many
Oh, yeah.
anime powers, and
Mhm.
most of the jutsu in Naruto is based off of Sun Wukong / Son Goku, his Japanese name,
And then Goku.
literally Goku.
yeah.
Monkey D. Luffy is based off of him.
Hence the
Where-
monkey.
Well, it's like Sun Wukong has the staff that like can grow infinitely big or small or to whatever size he needs it to. That's featured all over the place in Eastern media. Monkey D. Luffy is a representative of the staff itself, and where that's
Yeah.
how it's where like instead of
stretching.
having a staff that stretches, he stretches.
Yeah.
but also like the Sun Wukong can take his hair, pluck a single hair, and turn it into a clone of himself. And he can take a bunch of them, and he can just kind of throw them out,
Like
and
an
then just
army.
make an army of clones of himself.
Can you do that in the game?
Yes, you can.
Oh,
you
yeah,
get
that's
you
cool.
get a shadow clone. You get a shadow clone ability essentially,
Cool.
where
That's
you
sick.
just summon a bunch of clones of yourself to fight for a little while.
And then your game crashes because you have too many.
It's basically it's like the character type of the playful, sprightly, like I don't want to say monkey, like
Well, monkey's a big part of it, honestly.
but playful,
Yeah.
sprite, jumpy kind of
Like a goofball
godlike.
The
kind
spirit of
of-
the monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone who is so powerful that they can take nothing seriously.
Yeah.
And refuses to be lighthearted and like, because he's Sun Wukong's supposed to symbolize the mankind's perseverance, basically. The will of mankind, the spirit of mankind, because he steals godhood from the celestial banquet, and
Literally
when the
think of
gods
Goku,
start
honestly.
killing, yeah, and when the
when I think
gods
about
start killing when the gods start killing his people because he stole godhood, he basically fights his way through the pantheon,
Oh, they
killing all of killing all the other
Kratos.
they
gods.
took that from Kratos.
Like he's literally, yeah, and Kratos fucking basically took it from Goku.
No.
Like,
They should have a God of War versus the Jordan, like God of War crossover, basically,
oh,
where he goes and kills
See?
their deities.
see, they can. that would get banned. So that's gonna bring us to
yeah.
our
Yeah, speaking of banning,
Speaking of bands, we're going to talk about bands today. The big one that brought this topic to my mind, the Magic the Gathering bands. So, just for a little basis, for those of you who play Magic, there are very key cards that got banned recently, and that was Dockside Extortionist. There was Mana Crypt as well. And a new Lotus called Jeweled Lotus. So,
ooh,
a few things here.
and
So-
Nadu.
Jeweled and Nadu, but nobody cared about that one because everyone wanted that to happen. So that was fine.
okay. I'm gonna need these explained to me, but go ahead.
All right, so I'll explain all of them then.
Sure.
Nadu, real
Yeah.
quick. Nadu, a creature who is incredibly strong, gives all of your creatures the ability to, when you target them, you get to look at the top card of your library, and if it's a land, throw it on the field. If not, you get to draw it. So
Okay.
seems like a small ability on its face,
Yeah.
but in reality, when combined with equipments that pay 0 to a target and attach to something, so you can just attach them to everything over and over again, you just basically play your whole deck for free.
But it also leads to
So-
like people having 10-minute turns of just, and then I do this, and then I do this, and it's like,
Yeah.
dude, you're
Yeah.
you're
makes sense
playing
why
with
it's like,
yourself.
no one likes
What's
Yes, and
Yeah,
as
you're playing
and as
solitaire.
as someone who built a Nadu deck, I can attest it's not even fun for the person playing. It's when you get into it, you realize that like you have to just like dig and like finally get the and just kind of just go to work, and it's like
You just
it's
like take a
not-
deep
it's-
breath, like
because
Yeah, here we
damn,
go.
having my turn.
I feel like there was that time where we had like a 2-hour game because you were playing Nadu, and in response, I had made the Arkham Dagson deck,
Arkham Dagson.
and it just became a game of both of us doing that. And I remember looking
Yeah.
at you
Yeah.
and just like in my mind thinking like, is this fun? Are you having fun? Is
Which
this fun to you?
I will point out.
It's like mutually
put
assured
that-
destruction
like-
deck.
I'm like, huh? Yeah. How does it
We
feel?
also realized later that you were also playing with a card. Speaking of banned cards, you were playing with a banned
Hell
card
yeah.
that had already been banned in Commander.
Hell yeah.
Nice, nice.
Paradox Engine.
Hell yeah. So good.
So Nadu got banned. Everyone rejoiced. There was much rejoicing. Yay!
Yeah,
And
the Monty
The
Python.
Monty
stuff.
Python one, yeah. And now the other ones. So Jeweled Lotus. We're gonna start there. Jeweled Lotus is the next in a line of Lotus cards. So
Black
the
Lotus.
Black Lotus being the most famous. Now Lotus cards are famous for two things. Basically, they always have a similar effect. They cost 0 to play, so you get to put them out for free. Mm-hmm. And then you sacrifice them, and they make you mana. That's what they do.
Okay.
Black Lotus, the best in original, you play it, you sack it, you get 3 mana to do with whatever you want with. So getting that on turn 1, when you're supposed to usually only have 1 mana, is a very big deal. And basically can break open entire games. So they made a version of this called Jeweled Lotus that is only for Commander. That says, when you sacrifice this Lotus, make 3 mana, but you can only spend this mana on your Commander. So you can only play it in one format, Commander.
Yeah.
Can't play it in Standard, can't play it in Modern or anything else, because that effect doesn't do anything in other formats, because you don't have a Commander in other formats.
Yeah.
So they decided to ban this card. This is a card that now has 0 playable formats because the only card it can be played in, it is too strong for.
Oh, really?
They decided it was too strong. So it's a little silly. It's a little silly also because it's featured in a few Commander precons. Mm-hmm. And so you can open a Commander precon, and one of the mana sources in your Commander precon is not playable.
Yeah. It's like giving you trash.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
so this is just the entire concept. It's all trash.
It's all
cardboard.
cardboard.
But either way, like, I guess fair. You could play it still at your own house, like leisure. It's gonna a ref runs to your house. What the fuck are you doing?
Disgusting.
So that's the other thing. This amidst all this, as I talk about this, there is always the back and forth in the Magic community about like, oh, what about Rule 0? Rule 0 being just the rules that you make up and agree upon with your friend group, and that's how you guys are gonna play. So a lot of people will be like, oh, my friends, like, we don't play with Nadu. It's an agreed upon thing. We don't play Nadu.
Yeah, house rules.
And it's like, that's a house rule. Yeah. And so people are like, oh, if it's really that big of a problem, just Rule 0 it, house rule it, so that your friend group can play with the cards still. Mm-hmm. And the argument becomes,
no.
like, okay, well, like, no, it's like, okay, but if everybody's gonna do that, then why did you ban it in the first place? If everyone's just gonna house rule it back in.
Yeah.
And so that's a big one. So the other 2 cards, Dockside Extortionist. This is a 2 mana cost goblin who, when he enters the battlefield, he creates treasure tokens equal to the amount of artifacts your opponents control. So when you're playing a 4-person game, which is how Commander is usually played, you have 3 opponents.
Yeah.
You have 3 opponents who are all playing, and a very common thing to do in Commander is to play mana rocks and to play artifacts that give you more mana. So it's a very likely that most of your opponents are going to have 2 or 3 artifacts at least when this guy comes out. So he's going to be making you at least like 6 to 9 artifacts, 6 to 9 treasure tokens.
Nice.
His ability is just an entrance ability, which means every time he comes in, it's going to happen again. And there's a lot of very easy ways to make him come in and out over and over again and repeat that, especially if each time you do it, it gives you 9 mana or more. So this is kind of along with things like Mana Crypt, because like Mana Crypt and Soul Ring are the things that where people play them on turn 1, so that by turn 2 or 3, when you play your Dockside, you're already getting a bunch of mana. But Dockside Extortionist, that one, that one's rough, because that one was basically, I don't think that one should have been banned at all, because it wasn't well, all the other cards that got banned, or 2 of the big ones. They're colorless, and they tap for any mana color, Mana Crypt and Jeweled Lotus, which means that they can go in every single deck, no matter what.
Yeah.
That's not true. That's not true with Dockside Extortionist. Dockside Extortionist is a red card. It's a goblin. So, there's a whole suite of decks that are never going to play Dockside Extortionist because you're just not playing the color red. And I feel like having a color have a really nice key card in it that's really strong. Every color in Magic is like that. They all have really strong just power cards that you can basically put into any deck of that color. Like one of them that I like to think of for a long time that people regarded as really strong, not as much anymore, but before, Consecrated Sphinx. It's just this big blue Sphinx that when your opponent draws a card, you get to draw 2 cards. And so when you're at a table with 4 people and 3 of them are your opponents, that means you draw a card, I'll draw 2. Now it's your turn, I'll draw 2 again. Now it's your turn, I'll draw 2 again.
Yeah, just like a shit ton.
So,
Okay.
Exactly. So it was a powerful card that you could basically put in any blue deck because every deck ever cares about drawing cards. So, same with Dockside Extortionist. You could basically put it in any red deck because every deck ever cares about having lots of mana. So that you can play more spells and do more things. So, that one I don't understand as much. I think that was odd. And then finally, Mana Crypt. Mana Crypt, also like Jewel Lotus, 0 cost artifact. You tap it for 2 colorless mana. And on your upkeep, when you go to untap it, you have to flip a coin. And if you lose the coin flip, you take 3 damage to your health.
Okay.
So,
but if you win,
nothing happens. And you just untap it normally. And you get to
gotcha.
use it again. So,
interesting. Okay.
it's something for free that gives you extra mana to do stuff really early. And the drawback is very negligible because in Commander you have 40 life. So it's a 50-50 chance you're even going to take damage. And if you take damage, you're only taking 3 damage.
Yeah.
So it's like you can take that all day and be completely fine. And for the amount of acceleration you get, it's worth it almost always. So that's another one where you can put in basically any deck. It's a 0 cost. It's colorless. There's no restrictions on where you can put it. And so because it basically was if you have $50 and your opponent doesn't, you have a better deck type thing, they banned it. So it's been weird. It's been weird because people online are going kind of nuts about this. While I understand why it's a problem, the Magic community reacts so violently to these things sometimes.
Violently.
And
Jeez, death threats.
well, yeah.
Oh,
Let me
is it
put it
really?
this way: as of yesterday, 2 members of the Commander Advisory Group, the rules committee basically for Commander, have resigned in the last since this announcement. Since this announcement, 2 members have already resigned.
What was it? 5 cards that got banned and they're out? Or
4.
4 cards?
Yeah.
So and then 5 was too many. You got to get out of here.
That's hilarious.
Yeesh.
It happens a lot this day and age, honestly, with games in general.
Oh, everything.
When people will make huge banning announcements or huge rule adjustment announcements, and then resign. like it literally it's surprising how often that happens, and it's mainly to try and escape the backlash that is inevitable.
I'm sure. It's just like well for the mental health.
So, yeah, Magic bans have for a long time been a very contentious part of Magic. So, any questions?
Well, I was gonna ask when
About-
was
No, Professor.
when was the no I do no when was like the last major ban like this for MTG, if you know, like roughly?
So,
Yes, the day
I guess
before. I'm just kidding.
not really. I mean, bans kind of, the thing is, the MTG comes out with bans all the time. They
That's
do
what I
a
was
quarterly.
wondering.
They do a quarterly banned and restricted update.
Gotcha. Did they ever
Where
unban
things
cards?
they do.
Okay.
Sometimes they'll ban a card because of it seems too strong, and then after like 4 or 5 years of power creep, the modern cards have caught up to how strong it is, so they'll unban it.
No, I figured.
Yeah, and the thing is that even though they're banning things all the time, it's more about what gets banned that makes the big like impact, because they're willing to ban stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think right now of like
the major
ones. I would say some of the major ones in recent years were, for Commander, a big one that was really funny was they came out with a new card that they had to pre-ban. They banned it before the set released.
Pre-ban can still get you
All
pregnant.
right, can't patch it. Yeah.
Pre-ban can still get you pregnant. Sure.
You can't patch a fucking MTG card or packs. Like, yeah, I guess that's the only other way to do it.
That was a really funny one. Where
Do you remember what that card was? Sorry.
Yes, it was. It's Lutri the Spell Chaser. He's a little otter card who can be your companion. A new concept they come up with, companions. And the other funny thing about Companion was that when they launched the new set that had Companion in it, they had to rewrite how Companion works. So, like, if you buy physical Ikoria cards that were from the original printing, all of the text on them that says how Companion, the ability, works is wrong. That's not how it works. They errata the entire ability.
Nice.
So, it used to say, you can, as long as you follow its companion rule, you can have this like a commander, another commander, a companion that you can play at any time from the side of your deck, just like your commander. Well, they changed it because it turns out that was way too strong to have in 60 card standard. They were like, this is not doable in a format where you can have 4 copies of the same card because it's so abusable.
Yeah.
And so they pre-changed that as well for the launch, so that instead of just it's on the side and you can play it whenever you want, it has an ability that says you can pay 3 mana to put it into your hand, and then you can play it from your hand normally. Yeah. So they had to slow it down. So like that was also a very good. Yeah, that was a really funny instance of them banning an ability, like eroding an ability before anyone could play with it, because they just straight up were like, "Hey, we fucked up and we did this wrong."
Yeah.
I will say that was also something that was very funny when I was in high school. A card got banned called Snapcaster Mage. And when they made an article about it announcing it got banned, the writer of the article basically started the article with, "Hey guys, we fucked up." Like,
what the hell? Nice.
It was like they didn't try to like cover it up at all. The article was literally a whole piece about like, here's how we made the accidentally most overpowered card to exist in this format we ever could have. This card is bonkers and should never have been allowed to exist.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, I'm like, I know there's a lot of like play testing, so I'm just like, how does it get that far? And like, whatever.
That's the real question. That's the real question. A lot of times it's funny because these things will like get too far because people will be like, "Oh, it's just like attached to a tiny little creature. It's like a 1/1. Its entrance ability is really good, but it's a 1/1. You can get rid of it so easy."
Or my headcanon is they're all too drunk on bottomless mimosas and they accidentally pass. Like, yep, that one's good.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, kind of. I mean, it's funny, but the people who create Magic the Gathering aren't the best Magic Gathering players in the world.
That's fair.
Some of it overlaps, but like it's technically its own group. That's the best Magic players who think of the most creative combos and like have this stuff on deck.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, it's like if you're the best at playing it, like you're not gonna go like. If you're the best basketball player, you're not going to go make basketballs. You're going to play basketball.
Literally, exactly.
Yeah,
you're exactly right. Because most people report that when they do start working for Wizards as a professional Magic the Gathering player, it basically starts ruining the game for them. Because it's not something they get to have fun with anymore. And the thing is, when you go to work at Wizards, you are, as the entire time you work for them, you are not allowed to participate in most tournaments.
Yeah,
because if you are on the production side, like a lot of things you're not allowed to participate in. That's the way I understand it. So That's
that
a
makes
huge
sense.
thing,
Then you
too.
can, yeah, that's sucks. Yeah. Plus, I'm sure there's a lot of cards that get made where they don't think, because there's like millions of cards, so it's like you can't think of every type of strategy. So it's probably like, oh crap, someone found to exploit with this. That makes it more
Yeah,
OP than we
true.
anticipated.
They're always gonna miss stuff. It's like you can't catch everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's banning in Magic. Magic's little history with how they treat banning cards is very interesting.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes a lot of players will argue that it's more interesting what they won't ban, like what they will allow to dominate formats still, such as the One Ring, which people still are noting is in 65% of competitive Modern decks. Run the One Ring.
Let me look that up. I always forget what that.
What's it do?
It just draws you cards.
Oh.
150. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, it's
How it
expensive as
costs?
fuck.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's expensive as fuck. It just says when it enters, you get protection from everything for one turn. So you get one for one turn where you can't be hurt by anything.
Yeah.
And then you start tapping it and putting counters on it to draw you more and more cards every turn. But you lose life in exchange.
Because it's the One Ring.
It's the One Ring. So, yeah. So stuff like that, a lot of people say is very interesting that they won't ban.
Yeah.
But that's why I, like many Magic players, just play Commander and just play with what I like to play with and what my
Rule 0.
friends play with.
Oh,
Yeah.
update.
It's just a lot easier.
Update on our weeks. GymleaderNate and I went to pre-release, Dustmorn pre-release.
We
Yeah,
did. That's
we got
true.
Okay, so we did a two-headed giant event, which is 2 players versus 2 players.
Yeah.
And there's a fair amount of people there. The first people that we go up against are a father-son, who the son's
Aw.
like 10.
Who've been playing
Crush
for
'em.
like for a month.
Oh,
yeah.
They're like brand
And
new.
the son's like
So,
8
yeah.
to 10 years old, and just like constantly asking
shooting at
questions.
cards.
He was adorable.
And constantly, literally just saying, "Yeah, I don't really understand what you mean."
Yeah,
but okay.
I don't know what's
So they're getting
happening
their
right
shit
now.
rocked.
That's what.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
they
lo-
keep saying, "I don't know what's happening."
We're gonna
right
lose
now."
anyways, so
Oh,
just
shit.
I don't know what's happening. Like,
Aw.
but it was fun.
Poor
It was
kid.
it was fun. So we
The dad was like trying to like bond with his son, and you guys fucking decimated.
did
No, we
we
honestly
did decimate them.
we did beat them, but honestly, I spent a lot of time like kind of teaching them how
Yeah.
to play too.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
after
Yeah,
that,
that's good though. That's probably the best way to learn.
after that, we got trounced by like 4
By
stupid
teenagers.
Yeah,
Nice. Did you say
So-
4?
Yeah, 2 teams of
Yeah.
2.
They were cheating.
it's
There
like-
was 4 of them. There's 2 of you. What the fuck?
Yeah, they ganged up on us. They stomped us. Yeah, that was it was rough. It's a great set
Yeah.
though. I'm gonna say
They should
Great,
ban-
super fun.
they should ban
Oh, that's the horror
um,
themed one, right?
like multiple ages being in an event like
They should have
that.
like age class instead of a weight class.
Yeah, it should be
like
an
in
age
Boston.
Yeah,
class,
instead-
UFC.
Can we just
There you
make
go.
MTG
18
and
up, yeah.
Ooh, start putting boobs on the cards.
They already do. It's kind of surprising that
Like-
it's 13 and up.
Okay.
Honestly, there's a lot of boobs and
Well-
death already in MTG art.
Start putting
It's like a
wieners on the
PG-13
card.
movie.
Ah.
Put like one. Yeah. Put wieners.
There
That'll do it.
there is a card or two that's got wiener.
Ooh.
They're
Maybe
old,
get-
but they exist.
Okay.
Gajic the gathering
That's insensitive.
for
There you go,
gay,
buddy.
gay magic.
Yeah.
I walked it there. Took me a while, but
But
nice. Yeah.
while we're
that's-
while we're on
sounds
the
fun.
topic of like band stuff,
Yeah.
um,
You got
I
any
also
other?
thought, yeah, I thought if we wanted to, if you guys have anything that you'd like to talk about in terms of banning, because there's a lot of instances where banning can kind of really get in the way of media enjoyment.
Yeah. I
I
would.
think
Where-
Mouse.
yeah.
You know, speaking of comic books, I think Mouse
Oh,
was banned recently. The retelling
It
of World
was.
War II from the perspective of mice and cats and mice.
They're like,
But it's
Yeah.
actually like it's what is it? A biography that the writer wrote about like his grandfather, grandfather,
Father, I believe.
father, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't
Father?
remember.
Father, grandfather. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's insane.
that one's rough. That one
Yeah,
is.
Another similar actually too is Persepolis. It's like the woman, right? It's an autobiography as well of like I think her growing up in Iran. Also has had some trouble with banning. I know.
Oh shit.
It's so weird because like when like the state school boards and legislatures and stuff will try to ban these books and like say that it's violence that is the reason that they're banning it, like is because it's like depicts violence, and it's like meanwhile that's like the whole point is like to depict this, because like how can you talk about bad things that have happened like
Yeah.
in a visual format, like without
Plus-
depicting what you're storytelling about? And it's like that's
Yeah.
the whole point, is that it makes you feel uncomfortable, and like the feeling that makes you want to make it go away is like why it exists. Like I don't know, it's
probably
It's
a lot
such a
of
weird
propaganda in the sense of like the anti whatever, like where they're like we can't have people be upset about like people in Iran growing up, so let's ban the book. You know, like as
Yeah,
part of
Not
it.
shed any
Because
light
there's
to it.
more
Silence that
violent.
story.
Yeah, basically like censorship in that regard.
And I remember reading an article
Yeah.
too that in Florida a manga. Actually, I have the article right here. What is it? A school district in Florida banned a manga called Sasaki and Miyano because I guess it just has fucking LGBTQ content.
There's a bunch of that.
And they straight up recommended. They're like, here are other alternatives: Chainsaw Man, To Your Eternity, Seven Deadly Sins, A Silent Voice, and Sailor Moon. And it's like,
Nice.
dude, Chainsaw Man
Sailor
being
Moon.
on the list, Sailor Moon also, but
It's
Chainsaw.
got LGBT.
but that's like they're literally like, you know, like the Seven Deadly Sins is crazy to me because they're like, you know, what would be a better option? This one show where one of the characters sexually assaults another character over and over and over and over and over again.
Or it's promoting like, no, go with the ones that have like viscera and sex pests as the main
Yeah.
protagonists.
We're fine with violence, but no gay people.
That's where I draw the line.
And yeah.
As long as it's straight sexual assault, they prefer it
Yeah.
rather than actual gay relationships.
Regationships.
That's
I was-
much more obscene.
yeah,
you
we're
go.
getting there.
We're getting
more.
there, yeah. We're
I
progressive
saw
here
one
at No
too
Dumb
for-
Idea. In which direction?
definitely.
Who knows?
Yeah.
We're
Progressing
progressing
somewhere.
downwards,
Yeah, some
I
way.
feel.
We're moving.
We're moving. No, as I say, I saw one like an article for Lumberjanes, which is like a YA graphic novel series that is very like LGBTQ, and that I saw something like Texas. They had like I think in some event where the author was gonna come, and then like literally the day before they canceled because of the whole. Yeah, and it's like, what? How did you guys not like? How did you get that far? First of all, but then it's just like,
Yeah.
it's like, come on, people. You probably had a pretty good turnout, like that was gonna come too. So it's like clearly people support this. I don't know. It's fucked up.
It's so weird because like the in like especially local legislature and local school board stuff and local like rules, who they're appealing to are the loud people who get the most up in their most up in the like local government's business, which is always just loud old people with nothing to do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like who are just heavily involved in local like politics because they literally have nothing to do with their time.
Heavily
and-
religious too, potentially.
Most of the time, yeah. And so like it's so crazy because like those are the constituents that these rules are being made for, whereas like your average person just never would think to talk or even care about it. So it's like you almost don't even know to show up to defend it. It's like all of a sudden someone's talking about banning another book and you're like, what? Why? I didn't know this was a problem. Like, how could it possibly be a problem?
Yeah. I was like, to go into the realm of video games a little bit, I kind of looked up like a quick list. And this isn't banned, but just one that came up that was like potentially was I don't know if you guys know the Mortal Kombat Night Trap, like back in the 90s. That
Oh yeah.
the
Mortal Kombat
legislation. Yeah, Mortal Kombat and Night Trap were like the two games that kind of Night Crap. I mean,
crap with the K.
Because have you seen Night Trap? I'm like, how is this like?
No.
It's like
It's just like a FMV video game. It's like a very dumb B movie. I don't even know if there's violent or like blood in it though or anything.
It's like horror, or like a 80s horror. Girls trapped in a house that you could not spy on, but it's got cameras everywhere. And
you watch, and you set traps.
Almost like Five Nights at Freddy's, honestly.
Kinda, actually, yeah.
Which is crazy.
But the two of those games were the creation of like the games rating like system, like the ESRB.
Right.
Yeah, which is funny because Mortal Kombat, I'm like, sure, I get it because of the violence and blood and so forth, but Night Trap again. But yeah,
it's
just
funny.
It's there was other speaking of like banning for like violence too and stuff like that. People have tried to ban like the Killing Joke multiple times as well.
I think I saw Watchmen as well. It's like some list.
Yeah, same.
Mm-hmm. And it's like that one. It's like I can understand it because I mean, well, it's like compared to other comics, the Killing Joke is particularly gruesome.
True.
Yeah.
Especially with like the fact that there's like that's but I don't know. The entire concept seems just odd to me and. Like kind of like rolling it back to magic too. It's just
there
like,
it is.
Well, because it's a little because obviously these are different because like magic is banning cards to keep a competitive mechanical format healthy.
Yeah.
It's just when you get to things like Commander that are just an at-home format, and it's like most people don't play Commander professionally or like things like that.
Yeah.
Where it gets to be where it's like I think just people are putting too much emphasis on what people want to get banned or are banning. You know, it's like just because things are getting banned doesn't mean that you should stop using them, stop having fun with them, stop getting what you want out of them. And it's like the good, also the convenient and great thing about these like books and comics and stuff that people try to ban is that like the one good thing about the United States is if like in one state somebody bans some book and you can't find it at your local stores, it's like you can get it shipped to your house so easily and no one's ever gonna know. And it's like
the mailman's like taking your book. Hey, wait a minute, this feels like Watchmen.
Yeah, I'm shaking this box here. I think this is mouse. I can tell.
Sorry, I'm not allowed. Contraband.
Yeah, so I just realized it's just like that's one of the few good things about the United States is that like even though we have these wackadoos trying to ban stuff all the time, it's like they never really can.
Yeah. I think banning's more so with like other countries because like when I was looking up lists, it's like in Australia and like all those more recognized like. In the UK, in the 80s, there was the Video Nasties, which was like a list of 80 banned horror films, and like Evil Dead's on there, you know, and it's like there's some good ones and some like obviously some bad ones. So it's like, but it's like America, like you're saying, it's like we can easily just walk next door, different state, or like
right over to the next state.
Yeah,
it's when I was like, it's so funny because it's almost like fucking almost literally because, when I was living in the Chicago area. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest things about the Chicago area is like if you're in a state that doesn't allow something, you are less than 2 hours away from 3 other states. So one of them's gonna have what you need, and so like
just start calling all the.
Do you need fireworks? You go north to Wisconsin.
Oh,
you need
nice.
Guns? You go east to Indiana. Like it's
damn. Nice.
Illinois got a lot of rules, but none of them really count if you're anywhere near
Yeah.
like the border, because
They're like all perfectly like lined up where it's like you could get everything, you just gotta kind of drive, and just,
you
you
just
want it all.
gotta drive a little bit more.
Just gotta go,
Yeah.
yeah.
When my dad was in high school, he would talk about how him and his friends in high school would drive up to Wisconsin, because Wisconsin at the time there wasn't a federal drinking age; it was still by state. And Wisconsin's beer and wine age was 16, and so him and his friends at 16 would just drive an hour and a half up to Wisconsin and
get drunk
and just stay there for the weekend, get tanked all weekend.
Yeah,
So
shit,
it's
that's
like-
cool. Little weekend trips too. Damn.
Yeah, because like
Yeah,
it was legal.
I'm curious though. Being back on this, is there? I'm just like, is there anything you guys can think of that you feel like should be banned that maybe isn't, or at least in America? Whether it's MTG cards or like movie game.
Oh man,
I mean, it's kind of hard to.
Yeah, if we're talking
Even if
about
it's
in
just
America,
personal
we're gonna have.
preference.
To,
I've got a few right off the bat that I don't
Sure.
want to.
Then how about limited to pop
far
culture
into.
stuff that we.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
That's what I
Let's
mean,
limit it
actually,
to
I should
pop
say.
culture.
Sure.
Because I definitely know what I would choose, but that's a good question.
Yeah, pop culture wise. I guess,
Tucker Carlson. Wait, sorry.
Well, he's already deplatformed this at this point. No, fucking, I have not. Isn't he deplatformed? He doesn't even have a show anymore.
He was fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, they fired him. So, no, because Elon Musk gave him a show on Twitter. Airs on Twitter.
A show on Twitter. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
Wait, is that
Yeah,
those
a
like
show on
cartoon, like
Twitter.
conservative one? Because that should be banned.
No.
Have you heard about
Oh,
that?
also yes.
I forgot
Yes.
about that.
Forget
That should
about
be-
it, I think
where
that's-
it's like the woke America. Yeah.
It is so funny. That shows, honestly, its existence is hilarious
Yeah.
to me, because it's
Yeah.
so like there's no punchlines
No.
in the whole show.
It's not-
The whole entire
Yeah.
show
It's not
has no
funny.
punchlines, and the punchlines are always just supposed to be liberals exist,
Yeah,
and that's
literally.
it. That's the
It's like,
punchline.
oh,
it's like-
liberals.
Like, what a great way for them to advertise that they have no sense of humor at all.
Yeah.
Because, like, if they were to make something that actually had, like, good jokes that were kind of homophobic, I would be like, okay, fine. That happens all the time. But, like,
Gokes?
no. Like, they literally came out with something that had no jokes in it.
And that's
Did you just
Yeah.
say gokes?
hoax or
Gay jokes.
Oh,
good
gokes?
or good gay jokes.
Gokes.
oh, I thought you said hoax, like homophobic jokes.
Oh no. Oh yeah, that'd be good too actually.
No, those are homofolks.
Oh,
Yeah,
homophobes.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the animation's shit for that show too. I'm not even gonna find the name
Also
of it
true.
because you don't need to watch it. No one needs to watch it.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
choice.
And that's my
Growing
choice.
up, I remember we had like my dad would buy movies from just like swap meets and like random stores. Like he was always buying
nice.
movies. And one of the ones that we got, I remember it had it like advertised on the like cover or whatever. It was like, oh, banned, one of the first banned movies or whatever. It was Freaks. Have you guys seen Freaks or heard of Freaks?
Oh shit! I need to watch. I've seen like
Doesn't
a
sound
bunch of
familiar.
clips.
It's the Gooble gobble, we accept you, one of us. They make fun of it on South Park.
That's Alex Winter, right?
Alex Winter, I'm not sure. It's from 1932.
Oh, never mind. I'm thinking of Freaked. Freaks. I know
Okay, I've
Freaks.
definitely-
yes, I have
yeah.
Seen, I've
Yeah.
seen
No,
clips of
I've
that one,
definitely
too.
not seen this 1932 movie. I will.
Oh yeah,
admit.
well no, of course.
Yeah.
It's
Wait.
Ah,
Oh,
you son of a
I've seen
bitch.
images of this movie for sure.
yeah.
That's so funny. Both that one and Freaked, I think, are both like banned or like delisted or something.
It scared the shit out of me as a child. It really is a pretty freaky movie. It's a scary movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if it actually was banned, because I mean, how the fuck do we get a hold of it? But then again, like you guys said, you could get a hold of anything here. It was
Yeah, I mean, it could have been banned and unbanned.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
a lot of things happened that too.
Yeah. It's about this like, well, I don't know if she was a bank robber trying to hide out in a circus, but it's this woman who tries to manipulate this like little person into, I think because he was like wealthy from being in the circus, she was basically manipulating him into giving her all of his shit and all of his money. And then I think at one point he dies, and all of the freaks realize that it was because of the other, because of the thief. And they fucking, like, they hunt her down, and they don't kill her, but they fucking turn her into a chicken creature. And they turn her into an attraction, and it's really fucked up.
Yeah.
Whoa.
No, that sounds like a fucking...
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's, I remember that one being
That's one of
good.
those ones That's one of those ones I have been curious to check out. That and Freaked, funny enough.
I realized that I did think of something that I would want to be banned. And that's patenting game mechanics.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
that's a good one.
shit.
I mean, shit,
There-
isn't it? Well, go ahead.
There's this whole thing right now with Palworld being
That's all-
sued by
yeah.
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
And the basis of them being able to sue them is the mechanic of having a creature capturing game that you capture creatures by aiming and releasing a capture device to hit them with, using the right trigger. So specifically, that mechanic was patented for Legends Arceus, I believe, and now is now the basis, one of the bases of this lawsuit.
I just saw another game today. That's the same thing. I think it's like a trailer for a new one. It's called like Marabai Go or some shit. But it's literally it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
The same game, like Palworld
Yeah,
again?
it's like Palworld. Yeah, you got the whole crafting. It looks like cheap, but it's just another, like, the shit isn't going to stop. And the designs
Yeah,
don't
no,
have,
definitely not.
they don't have any charm. They have some charm, but it's not, they're missing that Pokemon
Yeah, it's
aesthetic.
much.
The one that really pisses me off,
I mean, Palworld's
that
probably
people
the
talk
biggest-
about, is, well, Warner Bros. A long time ago. Have you guys ever played Shadow of Mordor?
No.
Yep, the Nemesis system.
The Nemesis system literally is one of the coolest things to come out
yeah.
in a video game in a long
yeah.
time. It was immediately patented by Warner Bros., who has proceeded to never use it again.
What?
Yeah. The Nemesis system,
And-
for listeners that don't know, is basically the enemies kind of get like do you want to explain it? Sorry, I'm like trying to draw a blank.
It's an adaptive enemy system where when
Yeah.
you defeat certain generals and enemies in the game, they can try to escape you. And if they manage to escape you, they will reinsert themselves back into the random seeds of generals who are at the heads of various levels. And they will now have power-ups based off of how you beat them. And, like, if you beat them using a specific type of play, they'll be stronger against that type of play this time. And this adaptive enemy system was patented. So now, if anybody ever gets close to making an enemy system that adapts at all, they, like, patented just the concept of them, like, retreating,
Having the-
changing and adapting to your gameplay specifically and coming back is what they patented. And it just is like, it's just a
So
complete
good.
handicap on the things people
so-
can
yeah.
do
So good.
with video games, because that system
Oh,
can
yeah.
be used for so many things.
Oh yeah.
And it is sitting in a patent file, not even being used by the company who made it.
Wait, but it's Warner Brothers, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lord of the Rings, Mortal Kombat, any DC game. No, I'm
Yeah,
saying those
they
are the
could-
things
I
that
mean,
can
they could
use
do
it.
Arkham.
Like this.
Yeah,
Making
that's
a
why I'm just laughing
making-
because Mortal Kombat would be funny.
Yeah.
Making a Batman game
Yeah, Batman would be perfect for that.
with the Nemesis system would
Yeah.
be crazy.
Like a non-linear Batman game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Almost-
No,
Where
open
like
world,
every
RPG
time
almost.
you play, the order that you choose to like fight people in and handle the situations going on in Gotham completely changes how your story like
yeah.
arcs from A
In
to B.
general,
Totally.
side note, I think video games just need that in general. They need to be non-linear. Like, I think that's like that would be like a next, to find a way to make the story, like, I don't know, just give it much more of an open world approach.
I think it depends on the game.
Yeah, of course,
I
of
like
course.
me some like Pizza Tower, like platform stuff. Yeah. Actually, funny enough.
I feel like Bejeweled would be better to only be linear.
Yeah.
Open
sure.
world Bejeweled.
I want all the colors in a specific sequence.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say, speaking of, it's not necessarily banning, but delisted games. I don't like. I think it's like a similar, because like then there's like for an example that comes to mind right now is Concord. If you've heard of Concord,
Oh yeah,
It's
that's
a game-
crazy.
it's like a Overwatch style game.
Yeah.
That just
Shooter clone.
that came out and is immediately delisted, and so it's an online
They shut
only
the
too.
serv- They
Yeah.
shut the servers.
I feel
down
like that's a
Yeah, so
after
you-
like 2
that's
months.
a self ban
Yeah.
right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's a-
yeah.
That's a self ban.
Essentially.
Yep.
Yeah. It's such
And it's
a bizarre.
crazy.
I can't wait for like a
Like-
documentary based on that game, honestly.
There has to be the fact that
Like, at some
people
point.
like. It's funny because they're almost like people wanted to have a complaint about like there's probably so many people who lost money on like buying this game and now they can't play it. But then you look up the sales and it's like actually there's just straight up not a lot of people who bought this
no one
game.
really bought it.
I guess
Because it's
Like,
not a free to play
no one
either.
bought it.
It's like you have to buy it. Most of those games are free to play. I heard that too. They were like it's funny because I was listening to another Castle Super Beast and they were reviewing like a news article about it where the problem wasn't what is it, like crunching the
Staff,
workers
yeah.
or anything. It was actually the opposite. There was like they were like no, like everyone was a yes man. Every idea slowed them down. The like budget got ballooned out of proportion because everyone's like, let's do everything, no, like
I heard that
no, we don't say no here.
they wanted it to be their Star Wars.
Yeah, I had same. That's what I had heard.
You know it's
Yeah.
what's crazy is so it's basically an Overwatch clone failed utterly. Meanwhile, only a few months later, out of its ashes on the internet rises Deadlock,
I've heard good things about that one.
where this is a game in early access alpha. It's in early access right now, and still not even released, and has like, on average, like 60,000 people playing it already.
Nice.
Just from Steam keys. So it's just like
Wait, how much did you
like
just say?
60,000.
like for the first when it first
yeah.
started getting the keys, it reached
That's
60,000.
insane.
That was the number
Yeah.
I remember it hitting.
I
So it
was
was like-
stuck into Viv, and I remember seeing like some of the characters on like because they were playing or she's playing, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
these look kind of cool actually. Like I think there's like a little like manga like little dude. I was like let me see what the fuck. They're like a really cool looking character. Like designs.
It's interesting because like it's honestly really well. I like the vibe of it a lot. I just like I literally don't have the mental capacity for MOBA style games
Yeah.
anymore that take 45 minutes. I literally my brain is fried, and like I can't stay engaged for a full like 45 minutes, sometimes an hour long match.
That's
like,
a lot, yeah.
I just can't. That's a long time. That's a movie. That's like a whole, like that you are in a video game actively trying to not lose. Like, so yeah, I just but design wise, I just thought it was interesting because like it's also very Overwatch-y in its style, specifically the style. And I only say that because Overwatch itself is based off of a Valve game. It's Team Fortress 2, Blizzard's Team Fortress 2. So
it's like a big part of that genre is to look like the cartoony humanoids.
yeah. Meanwhile, the game does not function like Overwatch is. It is very different because A of all, it's over the shoulder shooter, not first person. And it's basically a MOBA. It's lanes with little creeps that drive down the lanes and try to take the towers in the lanes, and it's basically League of Legends but with guns.
Nice.
But yeah, sorry about the tangent.
No,
Banning.
you're good. Yeah. No, I was S3 listed games too. I'm just thinking companies don't do it because sometimes there's some cool stuff out there that
I remember one that was...
if it gets delisted, there's nowhere to play it.
Sorry. I remember one that was banned was Hatred. As I was looking it up, like banned video games,
I do.
This came up,
Yeah.
and I was like, yeah, I remember
It's all
this
Postal
shit.
2 and
Yeah, it's like
a
the
few other
edgy
similar,
fucking
like,
just. Oh shit! Sorry, I'm gonna take that again because I was. It's like the edgy, fucking, kill everybody around you, and you get 100,000 points for killing a pregnant lady or
everything's
some
so
stupid
dark and
fucking-
edgy.
Like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it is a product of its time, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I mean, same
but
list
now-
I saw, like Postal 2, Manhunt, and then Ethnic Cleansing, and I'm like, okay, that one.
Yeah, of course.
It would,
That one makes
it's, like
sense,
imagine
for sure.
today. Imagine today, someone like tried to make like a school shooter simulator
Jeez,
like
yeah.
video game. Like it can't.
It's like,
that can't
seriously,
release.
yeah.
I don't know if that would release any year,
Okay.
though, to be fair.
I feel like before
Maybe back in
Columbine,
the day.
it might have. If
Oh,
video
yeah, I
games
guess,
had
yeah, for sure.
existed, it might have been possible. But
Atari 2600.
or who knows? We might honestly fast forward 20 years, and it might just like school
True.
shootings might just be so common that now it's just a thing that's constantly used in video games and stuff, and nobody
A
cares.
Yeah.
simulator so that
Yeah.
people know how to get out of it. It's terrible.
Yeah,
It's part of
they make
education.
it- And they have to make it a video game because, like, 20 years from now, kids can't like stare at anything or like
But a
listen to any
screen.
type of lesson
all
if
VR,
it's not
though.
a video game.
It'll be VR,
Yeah.
too. So it's like...
It'll be via their Neuralink chips.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Well,
don't know if the...
well, it was a little bit depressing talking about stuff that gets banned, but you know, I think it's fun to wax on about and to
Wax off.
you know, to think about, you know, all the things that we're thankful to have access to and that don't get banned and that we get to consume still in this great media that we get to enjoy. Yeah, any closing plugs?
Plugs?
Yeah, follow me at Giddledang. That's about it. And follow No Dumb Idea.
Makes
too.
sense.
Please do that.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah. I'll plug myself at Dala.art on Instagram. Go give me a follow. I've actually been debating on making some stickers and other things out of some of my art. So, if you're interested, go give a follow and keep up with updates there. And yeah, same. Just follow No Dumb Idea, share it, comment, all the things.
Yeah. Email us if you have any ideas at our NoDumbIdea at Gmail, just in case you have any suggestions for us and episodes you might want to see. You can follow me at GymleaderNate on everything if you so choose. And, I just want to give a big shout out to Hellboy.
Yeah, let's give a shout out to a chicken lady from Freaks. Yeah,
Yeah, Chicken Lady, Peacock.
I want to
do a
give
shout out for
to
the Gem
state
Lotus.
School boards.
Jewel Lotus.
Yeah, Jewel Lotus.
What else?
Yeah.
What else?
This one's
No,
for
Gem
Dockside
one.
Extortioners. This one goes out to
yeah.
my Albert
Shout out
buddy.
to-
Yeah.
Shout out to
Regation
Substance.
shit or whatever. All the gay
Yeah,
stuff
regation.
that we.
Regation shit. To
Yeah.
goats. Yeah.
the goats.
Shout out to the Rules Advisory Committee. Yeah.
Shout out Concord.
Shout no.
Fucking best.
let's
No,
go.
we gotta take that one back.
Best
Take
video game.
that one back. No Concord. No Concord.
No, I want that
We gotta
documentary.
delist that one. Oh no, God.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Thank you for listening to No Dumb Idea.